Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're watching this, I'm a very tan bronze goddess as we speak. I had the chance to visit the Color Bar's new location in Evans Farm, and I got a beautiful spray tan for this weekend. My husband and I are hosting a Halloween party. I'm obsessed with Halloween. I go all out with the decorations at our house for our kids. And we usually have a big Halloween party at our house, but it just grown and grown and grown over the years. So this is the first year we're taking it off property. I'm super excited and I can't wait to recap everything with you next week. So I want to paint a picture, take you through a story that I think a lot of you could relate to. It's a Monday. I just got my kids off to school. The mornings can be chaos. And I've just got back to my desk. I made a hot cup of coffee. I am emailing people. I am on Zoom meetings with amazing ideas, just handling my work to-do list like a boss. And then in comes a text message from Cammie's teacher that she's snack helper tomorrow. So that entrepreneur hat goes out the window and now I'm in mom mode. I'm like, oh shit, I need to get on and order these groceries because I'm not going to have time between carpool and pickup and practices and getting my workload done. And it just feels like as a wife, as a mom, we are juggling so many things, often within minutes of each other. And I'm just always waiting for the next shoe to drop. And it's not a good place to be. So today, if any of you can relate to that, I wanted to talk about the mental load we carry as women and what are some tangible tips and things we can do to lessen that load without adding more to our plates. I remember reading somewhere that surgeons are just so amazing at what they do and they have this ability to compartmentalize. So they are able to just be so truly present, and thank God, with the patient that's on the table and to give them all of their attention and energy and expertise, regardless of what's happening outside of the operating room. And, as moms, we don't often have that luxury. We have to bounce between all of the things. And even if you have a supportive partner, like my husband is so helpful, that mental load often leads squarely on the shoulders of moms. I am the one who is signing the permission slips, going on the field trips. If my kids are sick, I'm taking them to the doctor. I'm making the dental appointments. And I'm coordinating the 24 items Cammie needs to bring in for class share. It's just like the extra things that I feel like fall on the mom most often. And I share that because if you feel that way, you are not alone. And in my friend group, it's a discussion we have all the time. And that's why I really wanted to open it up here on the podcast. But I don't want to ever complain because I'm so grateful for this life and what I get to do. That doesn't mean we can't want to look at ways at streamlining our lives, lessening our mental load, and just making sure that we feel that we can be happy and present. Without getting too philosophical, life is the present moment. It is literally not what happened in the past. That is over. That is gone. It's not what's happening in the future. That is not promised. That hasn't happened yet. The only thing you have is right here, right now in this moment. And we spend so much of our time not present with what's happening, not present with what's in front of us. And my goal is to change that as much as possible because I know stretching yourself too thin just leads to burnout and unhappiness. So if you read the title of this podcast, congratulations. Step one is admitting that there's this invisible mental load and you'd like to manage it better. So I'm certainly not perfect, always a work in progress, but I wanted to share some things that I do that really help free up the mental space and make my life a little bit more streamlined. And the first thing is the Sunday brain dump. So I like to do this on Sunday mornings with my coffee. I'll go in the dining room alone and I'll take out my notebook and I will just brain dump everything that comes to mind, all of my to-dos, all the things that have been swirling in my mind. I kind of just get it out on paper. And once I'm done with that, on the next page, I create a couple of lists. The first is my immediate list, and then I will put the days of the week. So I move anything over to the immediate list that I can do today. So that's Sunday. So maybe it's throwing in a load of laundry, ordering groceries for the week. And then I look at the rest of the list and I sort of add the tasks to the days that I'm going to do them. So Monday, I'm going to order all of the items Cami needs for share day. On Tuesday, I'm going to go to the bakery to figure out Gino's birthday cake. On Wednesday, I have a meeting downtown, so I am going to go see my chiropractor who's also downtown, and just kind of organize my to-dos based on the days of the week. And then the third column I've started to add, or the third list, is the delegate list. I'll be honest, this was the hardest yet best thing I've ever done. I find it really hard to ask for help, but it takes a village and you should lean into your community of people to help you. I'll put, here are things I can ask Matt, my husband, to help me with. Here are things I can delegate to my team at work that I don't necessarily need to have my hand in, and to free up my to-do list a little bit. And after I've done that, I will immediately go do things from my immediate list. And it feels really good and productive to check those off on the Sunday list. In that same vein, the second thing I do on a daily basis is journal. And I'm going to share with you my journaling process that really, really works for me. And I'd encourage you to give it a try. So I have a blank notebook, and every morning I'll wake up and I will do free writing, or what's called morning pages. And I set an alarm for 2 minutes and I just write. It's just a stream of consciousness. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's a to-do list. Sometimes it's paragraphs and sentences. And I try really hard not to think about what I'm writing, not to judge what I'm writing, but to truly let it flow out of me freely. And the mental clarity and space that this alone gives me is insane. So after I've done my 2 minutes of morning pages, I will flip the page. I'll date it. I'll do my gratitude. So 3 things I'm grateful for, followed by 3 must-do tasks today. So a lot of times I'll refer back to my Sunday brain dump, like, it's Monday. What did I say I had to get done today or do today? And then I'll add those in. And then I have 3 bonus things. Like if I get those 3 high-level tasks done, I'll move down to those bonus things. So that's the morning. And then the evening, I'm always coming back and on that same page writing the 3 amazing things that happened that day that I feel really grateful for. So if during that day, something from my must do or bonus list did not get done, it immediately gets added to the top of the list for the very next day. And I think that this is really freeing, because I'm allowed to say, like, okay, mind, you can release this. You can let this go. It is right here in this notebook on my bedside table. If I ever need to refer to it, you don't need to let this occupy your brain space, and you can be more present and focus on what's happening in front of you. Another thing we used to be really good about that I need to get back on our radar is what we call family meetings. So if you have kids, you know how hard it is to have an uninterrupted conversation, either at nap time on Sunday or when the kids are in bed. Matt and I will just have a touch base, because I realize a lot of times the anger and resentment I would have from juggling all these things came from me having these ideas, tasks, and to-do lists in my mind, but not articulating those to my husband. So we'll just kind of like look at every day of the week to say, all right, this needs done. Who's doing it? The kids need to be here, who's taking them, and just kind of have a plan of action for the week. And sometimes we'll look like a couple weeks ahead, like, oh, you're traveling, so I need to hire a babysitter for some extra help. Or, hey, we should plan our vacation in a couple months. Like, that's coming up quickly and whatnot. It's just like a really nice touch base. I know that sounds so silly, but like when you're out to dinner on a date night, you don't really want to discuss the daily to-dos. And with your kids around, it's often hard to really focus. So family meetings are pretty awesome. All right, you girlies knew I wasn't going to let this episode fly by without mentioning my third tip, which is meditation. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm so passionate about this work, and it has changed my life in so many ways that I'll probably never stop talking about it. But if you can spend some time meditating, ideally in the morning, but anytime throughout your day, not only does it free up space in your mind and give you clarity, but also you get to connect to your intuition and your decision-making centers. And I find that I just move about my day with more flow and more ease. Like, even with all of this planning, things are going to pop up, and you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to things. So on the days that I meditate, I'm far less reactive. I can make better, more sound decisions because I'm just more calm and more centered. There is a distinct difference between meditation day Erika and non-meditation day Erika. And if you're new to meditation, I have a 7-day beginner series on my Substack, which is available at rituel.substack.com. It is literally $5, and it leads you through 7 days of meditation, all 10 minutes or less, designed to be done anywhere, anytime. I have a gratitude walking meditation further back on this podcast. And a couple weeks ago, I released a breathwork meditation. So I really encourage you to try it. Another tip I have is to just set boundaries. For me, one of my boundaries is I am working out 4 to 5 days a week, and I'm blocking my calendar, and nothing is coming between me and that workout, because I spent all of last year putting myself last on the list. And while I was flourishing in business, my mental health was out the window. I was probably the heaviest I've ever been, and I just felt like shit. So my little mantra when I feel like, oh, I'll just take this meeting, even though this is when I'm scheduled to do Pilates, or oh, it's fine, I'll just work out another day. My little mantra is, we are never going back there, meaning we're never going back to that mental state I was in before, when I would not prioritize my fitness and my health. Working out and being active is also so great for your mind and your mental health. I do so much thinking when I'm running. I love getting out, going on a gratitude walk, and just clearing my head. So whatever that is for you, whatever you need boundaries around, just being really firm with those and hard coding those into your week. We briefly talked about delegating, but I think just as women, normalizing asking for help, it isn't a weakness. Back in the tribal days, people had a whole tribe to raise their kids, and now we are women who bear the weight of it all, oftentimes alone. So I think, leaning into your community, your loved ones, is crucial. So another tip is to batch your tasks. And for me, that means Tuesday, Thursday are in-office meeting days. So my mind can just be on that track. It's on communication, strategy, ideation, meeting with other people, and giving them my full, focused, undivided attention. And then Monday, Wednesdays are generally head down days, where I am working in my business, or I'm working on actually executing the content. So if there's a way you can batch tasks, I think it's really helpful in not feeling like you constantly have to switch so many hats. And last is leveraging technology. I love Calendly. So instead of going back and forth in emails trying to find a meeting time, I have set days and times where I'm available to take a meeting online and on Zoom, and I will send a link to my Calendly and say, hey, pick a day and time that works for you. Shared calendars. So I have a shared calendar with my husband and a shared calendar with my team members. So we all know who's available when, and everyone's on the same page with events, meetings, tasks. And also ChatGPT. If you listened to a few episodes ago, I had a whole podcast episode on how I use ChatGPT to design my dream day based on my human design. I actually used it to create my dream week schedule, and I've been following it, and it's been pretty right on. So ChatGPT is an interesting one. You can use it to optimize a lot of things. You can take a screenshot of your calendar and be like, how can I make this better? It's really, really cool. So managing your mental load is not about being perfect or creating these rigid schedules. It's just about these small micro changes or micro habits that add up to help you become a little bit more mentally free. I would really love for you guys to give some of these ideas a try, put something into practice. I think the easiest thing to start with is the Sunday brain dump. And if you do try it, send me a DM on Instagram. I'm at Erika Karl __. And I would just love to hear how it's going for you. Which also leads me to, I want to hear from you. I love learning from my friends and this community. What hacks, routines, rituals do you have to streamline your days and reduce your mental load? You can again send me a comment on Instagram or come hang out on Substack, my new favorite place to be, ritual.substack.com. I have a weekly newsletter, my love letter to you all on Sundays, which includes a deeper dive of the podcast episode, any links to things I talk about, and also there's a comment section and a chat, so it's more community driven. I absolutely love it. It's free to join. And that's it for today. We will connect with you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you're not already, hit the subscribe button. It really does help grow the show. Thank you so much. Catch you next week.